Okay, Mr. Z was still muted. Obviously, I was. Let's try that again. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Excuse my tardiness. So today we will be kind of sort of continuing. I guess this is the part two. Shout out to Mr. Shook to you. Ha, that rhymes. I guess this is a part two to the stream I did yesterday where we were speaking about Undead Chronic and the black women on Bossy's channel, Bossy Empress, I think her name is, um, essentially pleading their case to the white man about why he's better than black men, I guess, and why these black women talk so foul and ill about black men. And yeah, so we are doing a part two to that. um and for all of us that remember, train tracks. For all of us that remember, yeah, Undead Chronic flamed the women, particularly the one white woman named Yellen, um, at the end, right? The last 20 or so minutes was actually gold. So all of that, essentially pleading your case like you're in a courtroom, um, begging the white man, insulting black men. Shout out to the host again, Bossy, who just verbatim, just straight up said, yeah, we don't listen to black men, right? So yeah, so remember, recall black women telling black a white man, yeah, us black women, we don't listen to white black men. Yeah, black women don't listen to black men. So yeah, that happened. Um, so we're gonna be doing a part two to that. I have a couple of clips that I want to play. One is actually from Undead Chronic. The other one, shout out to Toya and her mom. Um, the other one is from a Rolanda episode, from back in the mid or so 90s. Um, yeah, that part, right? That part. So we will be covering this. Y'all give Mr. Z 1 second. We're gonna play those clips in a minute. But yeah, it was a bit embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed? It was embarrassing listening to these women beg and plead their case to the white man, uh, and essentially say how horrible black men are and how um, sexist and sexist, colorist black men are, and how black men are not real men, unlike the white man, of course. But of course, Z, but of course, right? So yeah, and I want to show you somewhat of a 30-year gap in rhetoric coming from white men, right? And I'm going to, and I just realized I should have actually clipped that also, because Toya said something very telling to her mom. But 1 second, of course this is happening. Y'all give Z 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. Yeah, so what was Mr. Z saying again? So yeah, we're gonna play the clip from Toya. We are going to play well, actually not the clip from Toya. I actually should have got that clip, but we are going to play a couple of clips, and we will speak about why we're playing those couple of clips in a minute. All right, y'all give Z 1 second. You feel me, Adric? I ain't even gonna say it out loud. Yep. All right. So yeah, this idea that and the reason why we're covering this today, because y'all know Mrs. Z like to put this thing in context. The reason why we're covering this is to emphasize not interracial relationships or any of that. It is to speak about black women pining for white men, but having to throw black men under the bus to do it, right? Insulting black men, belittling black men, and using that to attempt to appeal to white men, right? Now you can frame that however you want to frame it, but effectively this is what we get down to, right? And so I'm gonna play this first clip, and it's gonna give us context, right? So this is the clip from Rolanda about 30 or so years ago, and here we go. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat.
There's some people who are saying, I don't get it. Because we have an interracial group here. Are there any questions that you may have that you just don't get it, what we're talking about here? Okay, everybody. But you know what, Rolanda, let me make this suggestion to you, too, and that is that I have seen, even in our profession, my white counterparts who have the same issue. I mean, they're having difficulty finding these guys today. Here, I was talking to a lady back here. That's what I was trying to get to. Say, come on. Well, I think it's not the color, the race issue. I just think that the intimidation factor that he's talking about and you're talking about is money. And it's always an issue. If your mate makes more, I would be intimidated if my wife made more than me. Right. But it's not I'm not saying that I have a reason why. I'm just saying that it's an issue. But I'm also saying that I don't think that white men really want to date black women as much as black women want to date white men. I love my white wife.
So that was 30 or so years ago. Now notice the white man came in and essentially played down race. Race doesn't really matter. It's not really a racial element. And this, they were speaking of why there are no good black men, right? So this Rolanda episode, that's pretty much what the issue was. Obviously, black women are still keeping up that narrative. There's no good black men. Fine. And so the white man played down race. And what did he say a little bit later on? I don't think there's as many white guys that want to date black women as black women want to date white men. Oh, oh. So that was 30 or some odd years ago, right? That was 30 or some odd years ago. And that's the white man telling you, yeah, I don't think there's as many of us that want to date you as you want to date us, right? So for those of you that are like, oh, wow, that was forever ago. That was 30 years ago. Alrighty then, right? And once again, shoestring budget, Velcro budget, spit shine budget, right? And so if that was 30 years ago, all right, Z, what do white men, of more contemporary times have to say? Well, here we go.
Even the most beautiful among us start to be seen as average. Wait. So the problem is, beautiful women are being seen as average. You think that? Wait. So you think that no woman is ever good enough? They're all below average, or just okay. There's like maybe one or two top women, and then there's a massive gap where all the other women are like 5 out of 10s. Like, please, I used to be pretty, but I'm average. What do you think is happening? What do you think is happening to men? What do you think is happening to men, yo? You think that beautiful women being told they're average? Did you know on an OK Cupid study, man, it was 2010, I think, the majority of men were rated by the majority of women as below average? I'm supposed to stand here and feel bad for bitches that can't use the right filter? I'm supposed to feel bad because you can't swipe the right way on a fucking phone? But because dudes are 5'8", 5'10", because dudes aren't white, they're below average? You know, white guys are 4% of the world's population. I get it. Everybody wants to fuck us. I get it, Asian bitches. I get it, black bitches. But god damn, the way you treat your men in the West, the way white women treat white men in the West, is disgusting. And they're out here still bitching. All they do is bitch.
Yeah. And that was just a couple months ago. Was it even a couple months ago? Yeah. Now, this is, as many of you know, that's Undead Chronic. So you have two random white men, because I don't know what Undead Chronic looks like. So that's 30 years apart. Now, I'm playing this clip because when Toya played the clip from her mom, and shout out to Toya and her mom, of her mom on Rolanda, and the white man stood up and said what he said, and Toya's mom, yeah, these white guys ain't checking for black women like that. And she paused and she made a comment essentially saying, well, it might have changed a little bit. And Toya then responded, yeah, the media would have you believe that. Essentially, Toya was saying that's propaganda. They still ain't checking. Now, let me be very clear. Mr. Z finds different type of black women to be the most attractive women on the face of the earth. It's the hierarchy. Dear black women, you can't elevate above black men in the hierarchy. You can't elevate without black men in the hierarchy. All these appeals to white men, as Undead Chronic said himself to those ladies in 2022. Y'all be careful, because them white guys, this is a white guy telling black women, be careful, because white guys know how to play the game. Right? And they're going to whisper sweet nothings in your ear, and they're going to smash, and they have no intentions of marrying you. The only reason we cover this today, once again, is to speak of black women throwing black men under the bus to appeal to white men, insulting, belittling black men in their image to appeal to to appeal to white men. These are two different white men. Commentary 30 years apart. Their commentary is 30 years apart. 3 decades. Black women are still speaking about how inept black men are in comparison to non-black men. And then the white men are telling you, yeah, I see you attempting to get at me, but yeah. And notice, Undead Chronic didn't just throw black women under the bus. He said Asian women too. Oops. I said it to you, Chrissy. I said it to you, Lexus Exodus. I said it to y'all. Y'all think those white guys are dumb and naive. Yeah. Nope. Right? You think the Latino men are dumb and naive. Nope. Right? People know where they stand in the hierarchy. Men know where they are in the hierarchy. It's part of our survival to know where we are in the hierarchy. So the appeals to white masculinity by throwing men of your own race, as the white bigot man said himself, the way y'all treat your men in the West, right? And Undead Chronic, don't get it twisted. It's not some of these women want the mixed child, but it's not really the sex. He was like, oh, I know, I get it, black women, y'all want to F us. I get it, Asian women, y'all want to F us. It's really the status and the money, the status of having the white husband, right, and the mixed kid, right? That's why they cheat on y'all with us. I'm not gonna make the penis jokes. There's no need. I'm not gonna. You know what it is, Undead Chronic. Come on, let's stop playing. Let's not stop playing. Right. Right. So we let's not be hyperbolic here and do too much and be a little extra. Like, this is what it is, right? This is what it is. It's the hierarchy. It's the hierarchy, and that's okay to admit. Right? What did that brother say? He started off his short. It's not you. You're just not white, or something like that. I thought that was funny as hell. The brother started off the short that way, right? And that's okay to admit as a man of color, as a black man in particular. And then move accordingly. And let the women pine after white dudes, and all you lame brothers go marry those chicks after they've been to pass around for the entire white frat at the PWI. And all the rest of us are telling them, no, you stay over there. Right? Have fun with the cunnilingus after the white man done penetrated. Anyway, Yeah. So, you know, and as I said before, do I think that women don't mature also and grow and evolve and have epiphanies just like men? I do think that's a thing. Do I think it's a thing with this? No. And the beauty of this of social media and the internet is they're letting you know it, right? They're letting you know it, right? And that is why I want us to be very careful when it comes to particular black women, some of the things they say, right? The way they act and maneuver around black men, how they might be willing to throw a black man under the bus to appeal to white folks, namely white men, right? You got to be really careful with this because there's a number of black women to get under the white man, and I mean that in all the ways you think I mean it. To get under the white man, they'll throw black men under the bus, as evidenced by what's her name, Bossy Empress or whatever her name is, right? And they'll be as Professor Black Truth says, no, not so much Professor Black Truth, as Jason Black, the Black Authority says, you want to hear a person of color tell the truth? Put a white person, a white man in front of them. What happened with Bossy Empress when the white man started talking to her? She said straight up, we don't listen to black men. Black women don't listen to black men. Exactly. Exactly. Right. And so we'll play this last clip just in case these women want to say, do the whole, well, the reason why we want to date white men is because black men didn't do this and black men didn't do that. And well, let's let the PhD researcher tell us what it really is.
And so I think that that's a thing that as research on online dating or just kind of dating generally, I think goes forward. I think we need to move beyond just what is your political party affiliation. And I think really kind of get into these other kinds of deeper, I think, aspects of politics and how that is shaping, kind of how people, as I called it, right, vet each other. But I think also, right, this shaping of what it means to be desirable, because again, right, it seems to be kind of confusing, right, that people want people who are, I mean, they'll say they want people who aren't racist, who aren't sexist, who aren't XYZ, right, because that's what you're supposed to want, right, but then they seem to have this kind of confusion or this disjunction where they still desire, right, kind of cisgender heterosexual white men, and particularly with the women that I interviewed, there was a lot of desire for white men with beards, this very particular aesthetic that they were very attracted to. So there's kind of all of those aspects, right?
Yeah, ladies, black women. You know what's it's maddening to see people who really think they came to their conclusion all on their own, and it's their experiences that are causing them to come to their conclusion. It's black men's behavior, it's black men's colorism and sexism, it's black men's ineptitude and all of that, right? It's all of that. And in reality, it's because black men aren't white men. Right? It's because black men aren't white men. Yeah. And y'all give Z 1 second. Regular streams, y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. All right, y'all talk amongst yourselves. We'll pause right here for a second.